This is WBS TV and you're watching Business Forum. Welcome back. Ugandan tour operators are concerned that Uganda's wildlife is on the verge of extinction if the current agencies entrusted with conservation are not meant to account for increased poaching and ivory trade. This follows numerous incidents in which ivory export is intercepted shortly before it is sneaked out of the country. And as our senior business reporter Kenneth Wider reports, tour operators condemn the laxity in wildlife conservation, which is bound to undermine Uganda's tourism potential.
Tour operators are angered with increased illegal trade in ivory that has seen containers carrying ivory from Uganda being netted almost every month. The operators believe that agencies trusted with wildlife involved in illegal poaching and trade of ivory that is threatening the survival of Uganda's tourism industry.
How can we have ivory in the armory of Uganda Wildlife Authority stationed there with the security available, and we have this ivory moving from the stores into the smugglers? We are appealing to Ugandans, the political leaders in this country, to make sure that the people involved in this scam, they are brought to book.
Tour operators are disappointed with the steps being taken by Uganda Wildlife Authority to engage in an export of game trophies with the company in the names of Simcoe Skin Craft Industries Limited. The export includes sale of warthog teeth, leopard skin, cheetah skins, crocodile skins, several cat skins, python skins, hyena skins, tortoise shells, buffalo skins, hippo skins, leopard skins, impala horns, among others, without clear explanation of how the products will be got.
There are so many exports going on in the wildlife trade. As it was quoted, you need 3 pangolins to be killed in order to get 1 kg. We have documentation stating that they have issued a license to export more than 7,000 kg of pangolin scales.
The announcement by Uganda Wildlife Authority as published in the local press to issue license to interested exporters of endangered species is also another disturbing action by Uganda tour operators.
We have already been affected by the negative publications about Uganda because of Ebola, because of Marburg, because of terrorists, because of the gay laws, which means that if we now add on wildlife, we shall have nothing remaining to sell. So we think this one we must fight strongly and make sure there is no wildlife trade in Uganda.
We even have reports of containers of ivory originating from Uganda in Singapore, in Malaysia, and some of the containers are still in Mombasa. We cannot accept this to continue. Yet 2 days ago, another consignment was got at Entebbe Airport, and some of them are being confirmed that some of the ivory was removed from our stores. We cannot accept this.
The operators want government, through the Office of the Inspector General of Government, to carry out intensive investigation into management of wildlife and bring an end to illegal smuggling of ivory and poaching. Kenneth Wider, WBS News.
Now, for most people, buying a car is one of the most important achievements in life. However, not many stop to take stock of what it takes to maintain a car, fuel it, taxes, and the fact that a car is always depreciating and never appreciates. Today, we take a look at how best you can finance your first car.
Many people look for having their own car, not just to ease transport, but also to fit a certain image. However, you wonder, is a car a liability or an asset?
Now, buying a car is, if not the most, the second most purchase in terms of size for assets. You know, either buying a house, which typically is the big one, and then a car, or if you don't, buy a house, the car is quite a big outlay. What's important to understand there, the moment you drive that car out of the dealership, value depreciates over time. So a car, whilst an asset, is clearly an asset that is depreciating in value. It's very important to understand that at the beginning.
Taking into account its depreciating value, a car is still very important to own. So, How does one finance their first car?
I think even the first point, before you even get to understand the terminology around buying a car, as a financial planner, for me, it's important first to understand, within my monthly budget, do I afford not only the installment, but all the other expenses that are associated, with buying a car. So we're talking about the installment, we're talking about fuel, we're talking about maintaining the car, things like emergency having to replace tires, for example. So let's assume you have done that. You understand within your budget you can afford a car. Then certainly the next thing, Google, that comes to play is fuel efficiency, for example. What sort of car am I going to buy? As fuel goes up and down, will I be able to afford it? Once you have done that, then we go to the second thing. Am I buying a brand new car or am I buying a used car? That is quite an important differentiation in terms of, affordability, given the depreciating nature of the asset, that is a car. Once you have made that call, whether it's new or it's used, then you are talking about deposit. Now, as a financial planner, I advise my clients that you got to put between 10 and 20% as a deposit for a car.
Unfortunately, saving for most Ugandans remain a challenge, while one may also not have a deposit.
Financing companies there, they now give you a term of up to 72 months, 6 years in other words. So the longer the term, the higher the interest rates that you pay. So if you're going to settle for a longer period to pay back, I recommend a 20% deposit if you're going to pay it for a period of 6 years. If you're going to pay it over a period of 3 years, which I recommend for a used car, then 10% deposit is fine.
This now leads to having a debt one may not be able to pay in time. So we ask, how can one prevent themselves from sinking in debt over their first car?
You then end up with a situation where if you're not careful, you can actually pay this car over a longer period of time. What do I mean by that? Let's take a 4-year period and you put a residual. Exactly as you point out, what many consumers out there would do is that end of 4 years, I now want to take ownership of the car. I go and find a loan, a personal loan with my bank of, say, whatever the amount of the residual, let's use 50,000. I take that loan over a 2 or 3 year period, pay the residual, take ownership of the car, but what actually has happened is you're paying that car over the 4 years that you had the loan, plus the 2 years to pay the residual. So for a depreciating asset as a car, it doesn't make financial sense, to pay it over a 7 or 8 year period of time. That's why generally I discourage, putting in a residual as part of financing for a new vehicle.
Thank you.
Now, while owning one's first car is a great milestone for many, it remains vital for one to plan and take everything into consideration.
Traders have expressed optimism that the Ugandan shilling will gradually appreciate against the dollar in the coming months. Mr. Evaristo Kayondo, the chairman Kampala City Traders Association, said that despite the continued depreciation of the shilling, the unit will strengthen over time. He said many traders are now hesitant to import goods due to the exchange loss they incur when the shilling depreciates. This comes as the traders who mostly import their goods from China have to do multiple conversion of the Uganda shilling to the dollar and then change the dollar to the Chinese yuan, which is appreciating against the dollar. Bank of Uganda's Director of Research, Adam Mogome, said the Chinese yuan has depreciated mildly but about 2% on year-to-year basis from 6.06 per dollar to 6.19 per dollar as of January 22nd, 2015. The shilling has, however, continued to slightly gain against the dollar this week. Mogome said the shilling that had depreciated to about 2,900 shillings mid last week has since traded at about 2,850 to 60. However, should the US dollar continue to strengthen, this will certainly impact on the shilling's behavior, he added. National Social Security Fund boss Richard Byarugaba also expressed optimism that the performance of the shilling will improve. He said the economy is gaining now that we are going to February. We'll now take a look at how the shilling has performed against other currencies today. Now to today's business quote: success, nothing else. That's all we had for you today on Business Forum. Thank you so much for being with us here. I am Anita Mwangazi. See you soon.